Good evening, everybody. Hope we are streaming live. Let's see. Hello. Hello, Sovik. Hello. On time. Very good. Good to see you. Let's see who all joins. We start streaming. We haven't started as yet. Yes. So we are here. All right. Okay. All right. So, most welcome. Good evening once again to my session. Welcome to my session. Welcome to Unacademy Live. Welcome to YouTube. It has been a relentless effort from all the educators, including me, to bring about lots of new innovative topics for you so that you all can benefit from these sessions. Yes. Okay. So without taking much of time, let's begin with the session. All right. Okay. Just 1 minute. I'll just position everything. All right. Let's start with today's session. There we go. Welcome to Unacademy Live. These topics are usually chosen by me so that grade 9 students as well as 10th students both are benefited by this, and I always try to take up certain topics which are out of the box and not the stereotype ones which usually happens in the plus class. So today for this is definitely for those students who have not been able to understand analytical paragraph or the format of a formal letter. So I'll be going in detail talking about and discussing about how to write an analytical paragraph which is based on pie chart or a bar diagram or a line graph. And there is one more thing. Yes. So this is what we are going to start today. We are going to learn today analytical paragraph as well as formal letter. All right. Okay. In detail. Okay. So those of you who do not know me, yeah, I am Paromita Chattaraj. I am qualified. I am a qualified English teacher. I've done my post graduation along with B.Ed and have been trained under British Council and other platforms. I have good administrative skills. I do believe that English is such a subject that one should be skillful about it, and one should skillfully using and applying this particular subject. So moving ahead, you all can see my referral code on the screen. Yes, you all can see the referral code on the screen, so please apply. Okay, moving ahead, now we come to today's topic. Okay, we come to today's topic. I will just place the mobile over here so that I can see who all have joined. अरे कौन कौन ज्वाइन किया है भाई, समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा. अरे वाह, ये रंजन प्रधान कौन है? अरे वाह, गुड टू सी. क्या बात है, कौन है? थैंक यू सौविक. हाय रंजन. हाय नैन्सी. ओ स्वपर्णिका. हेलो हेलो स्वपर्णिका. Very good to see you. Very, very delighted to see you. Hi, Saif. Hello. All right. So, everybody is set. Everybody is set to learn what is analytical paragraph all about. First, you people tell me what have you learnt in your school. Good evening. Hi, Anshvi. Hello, Anshvi. Okay, first you people tell me what do you understand by analytical paragraph, or what has been taught to you? What have you learned so far in your school? Yes, hi Anshvi. Please tell me, please type in the comment box as to what do you understand about analytical paragraph, and then I will take you across. Hello, Saif. Yes, what has been taught? How have you been? Yes, it's Soparnika. Is it only graph? Is it only graph that you get to see, my dear? Is it only graph? No. What do you do? After you have been given a graph, or maybe a histogram, or maybe a bar graph, or maybe a line graph, or a pie chart, you are supposed to be doing something. No. You are not supposed to be answering. You are supposed to be analyzing. You are, yeah, I'm just typing. You are supposed to analyze the given data. All right. You are supposed to be analyzing the given data. Okay. Now I will tell you in detail how to go about it. Okay. All right. Nancy, are you there? Nancy, are you there? You are not there. All right. Chalo. What is the technique? What is the vocabulary? What are we supposed to be doing? How are we supposed to be doing? How do we compare, contrast? How do we introduce? All these will be discussed today in this session. Okay, now the first and foremost thing which comes to you is the introduction. All right, everybody can see, yes, analytical paragraph is based on the graph, pie chart, histogram, bar graph, question and paragraph. Very good, very good. But don't you think there is a technique? There is a technique for you all to write or analyze that particular data? Yes, safe, isn't it? Yeah. So how do we do it? Now there are certain techniques, and certain, there is a format which you are supposed to be applying. Let us now begin with the introduction first. For example, there is a given graph. Now when I had taken analytical paragraph in my plus classes, I had given them the data of coronavirus in different states. Now for example, if you have been given the data, say today, just today in the plus class I have done one, there is a data of English and Hindi speaking students in Kendriya Vidyalaya, in private schools and in government schools. So these three things are given. Okay, for example, just assume this is your data. All right, so how will you introduce it? Let's discuss that first. Good evening, Rahul. Yes, hi Aditya. Hi, hello. Okay. Suprajna, wish you all the best. Hello. Aditya, Rahul Malhotra, Suprajna. Good to see you all. Suprajna, you will do well. Hi, Dilip Singh Rao. Hello. Okay, now let's get to the first paragraph, that is the introduction. The introduction is the first paragraph that should describe in brief what the graph is all about. It should be like an opening paragraph that introduces the reader to the context of the chart given. Now I have just given you an example that you have been given. Just visualize that there are two graphs, Hindi speaking and English speaking students in government schools, Kendriya Vidyalaya, as well as private schools. Now for example, now if you see that, how will you introduce that particular graph to your examiner or to your reader? There is a technique to it. So you will actually write what? I'll show you a sample also. You will write that the following graph shows the ratio or the data of English speaking and Hindi speaking students in 3 different schools. Right? You have introduced it, and you are not going to provide too many details in your introduction, because that particular detailing is going to come in your second paragraph and the third paragraph. You may have sub paragraphs. I'll talk about that later. So when we are introducing that particular paragraph, The introduction is supposed to be telling us what the bar graph or the pie chart or the line graph is showing. We just need to mention what is clearly evident, what is shown in the chart or the graph, or what the question is asking, right? And it is always good to have a brief introduction. A brief introduction is always, हाँ जी, क्या? Yes, a brief introduction is always recommended. Okay, all right. Okay, now moving ahead, now comes the second paragraph, the body of the paragraph. Now this part of the analytical paragraph should contain details of the graph or chart given in the question. I'll explain you once again. Yes, I'll explain you once again. Now that you have introduced your pie chart or your bar graph. Saif, are you there? Or your bar graph or anything? Soparnika, Saif. Okay, so how will you now analyze it or write the significant details? You will have to break the body into sub paragraphs. Now I would suggest you, as a board examination candidate, please do not have multiple paragraphs. What you can do is you can have just 2 paragraphs, or in totality what you can do is you can have just 3 paragraphs. All right, and the second paragraph will have all your comparative analysis. Now this comparative, okay, this comparative analysis is supposed to be comparing the entire data which is given to you in your question. The ratio or the proportion of or the percentage of Hindi speaking students. Again, the percentage of English speaking students in 3 different schools. The percentage of Hindi speaking students in 3 different schools. Now, here there is one significant thing that you need to understand is that you will have to write a comparison. And to write down those comparisons, there are certain phrases that we use. Okay, all important information which is given to you in your bar graph or your pie chart is supposed to be written. You can break the body, the second paragraph, into 2 small paragraphs so that there is a clarity. There is a clarity to the examiner that okay, the child, the student is writing about this in this paragraph and comparing the different datas in the next paragraph. Is that clear? Itna clear tha? Itna clear tha? Comparison in the para. This comparison has to be very, very carefully and strategically done. Now this comparison has to be very carefully and strategically done. How? How will you do it? The first and foremost thing, आपको अपना जो डेटा या आपको जो बार ग्राफ दिया गया है उसको बहुत केयरफुली you will have to see and you will have to organize the information. Sometimes you will see a sharp rise or a sharp decline in the data. All right, if we consider this particular example which I have spoken about speaking English in 3 different schools, we may see that there is a sharp decline among the students who speak English in government schools. You will not find many students who speak English in government schools. But on the other hand, again, if the graph goes up in the private schools regarding the percentage of English speaking students, it is going to go high in the private schools. And again, when we come to Kendriya Vidyalaya, it will be a balance. Yes, it will be a balance of, hi Debo, acha tum aa gayi? Yes, so it will be a balance. When you see students of Kendriya Vidyalaya, you will find a mixture of students who speak English also, students who speak Hindi also. This particular information is also very important when you write down the conclusion. So you should look for the large differences that are very prominent. You can mention the aspect which is the smallest or the largest in the data given. Any aspects that are similar should be mentioned. If you find a similarity, कंपैरिजन पहले करोगे बहुत हायर है या बहुत लोअर है, that particular comparison is to be done, and I will be telling you how to use those phrases. In contrast, in contrary, on the other hand, just the opposite. However, these are some of the phrases, comparative phrases. That's very good, Devopriya. Yes, Aditya. I'm very happy for you that you got the iconic subscription. Okay. So, coming back, when you are comparing, when you have organized and seen all, you've organized all the information which has been given to you in your data, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You will start comparing them. And if you find any similarity, the similarities will come later after you have compared the higher ratio and the lower ratio. The higher and the lower ratio. Is that clear? Oh, that's nice, Devopriya. Very good. It is just a data. Yeah, it is just a data that I am using as an example, because it was a question which was given for exam. So I took up that in my plus class today for 10th graders also, and they wrote it. Okay. All right. Hey, Nancy, you came. Very good. Chalo. So after the comparison, further mention about the aspect that has remained unchanged or constant throughout. So there are three, in fact, there are three things that we are doing while analyzing and after organizing all the information. The first thing, we are analyzing the sharp rise or the sharp decline. Second thing, there can be similarities. There can be similarities between two data. We are going to mention that also without fail. Third thing, there are certain data which has remained constant throughout the year. Okay. There can be constant data which has been given, maybe 1995, 96 and 97. There are constant data which have been given in terms of, say, buying computers or sale of televisions. Okay. So at that point of time, we are going to mention that also without fail. Clear? ओके, चलिए आगे बढ़ते. Now, if the chart mentions special class, which class, Devopriya? That's a special class. This was a last moment thing which I had to schedule. Special class, the beggar and the little girl. Quiz. Devo, please come. Adi, you too. सोविक को भी बोलो. Okay, now comes comparing information. If the chart mentions two different parties, for example, men, women. अभी मैंने क्या बोला था? What is the example that I had given? There were two sets of students speaking English. One set is speaking English, one set is speaking Hindi. How many schools are there? 3 schools. Kendriya Vidyalaya, private school and government school. All right. Okay. So, each and every detail which has been given to you in the graph has to be compared. For example, I had taken up one question today in my listening. In my class today, there was a question that one of my students got, and I had done that plenty of times in my plus classes, that there is a gender of male and female. There is a data that female spend more time and they do more work. That was the data of Great Britain. They are using more of household work, whereas males, they spend more time in pet caring and gardening. Yes. फिर भी तुम आओ देवप्रिया. ठीक है, तुम्हारा सर्टिफिकेट किसी को डोनेट कर देना. Yes, okay, but I want you to come, and you are supposed to be sending me the PPT also, madam. Don't forget that. Okay, if the chart mentions two different parties, for example men and women, refer to both of them in the analytical paragraph. There is a contrast or comparison that could be drawn. You must present it effectively. After all, analytical paragraph is all about comparison of data. This is supposed to be done without fail. And previously, while I was taking this session, I told you that contrast or comparison could be drawn. अगर हम contrast compare करते हैं, how are we comparing? Taking up the same example, if we see that in the government school, the number of students who are speaking Hindi are more, number of English speaking students are less. On the other hand, if you go to the private schools, you will see number of English speaking students are more, whereas Hindi speaking students are less. यहीं पर your comparison is ready. Yes, so we can just write down a statement that compared or we can say that the percentage of English speaking student is higher in private schools compared to the government schools. Whereas, you see the phrases that I am applying. Whereas, हाँ बेटा, yes. So whereas the data shows that the number of Hindi speaking students are higher in government schools compared to the private schools. This is how specifically and effectively the comparison is supposed to be done. If the chart is about a particular time period भी दिया जाता है, years 1995, 96, 97, trends दिखाए जाते हैं. Every year, now if a certain data has been given, 95 में population इतना था, 96 में इतना था, 97 में suddenly rise हो गया, बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. Suddenly there is a sharp rise. So the data shows a sharp rise in the year 1997. The data shows a sharp increase or sharp rise in the population. Okay, फिर 1998 का जो data है, it might not be that higher, and 1990 population is such that it's supposed to be increasing day by day. Okay, there are less chances that it decreases. So you will have to check year wise, period wise, time wise. Everything has to be mentioned very specifically and effectively. Am I clear? Clear? You will have to write, compare about all the datas and everything, time period wise, sharp rise, sharp decline, using comparative phrases, etc. is very much suggested. ठीक है? Any questions? Any questions, Saif? Nancy, Swaparnika, Devopriya, Aditya? If this is there, Devopriya and Aditya, if it is there in the 10th grade syllabus next year, then you will be benefited. Okay, now comes, alright, now comes mentioning quantities. Okay, quantities हमेशा दिया रहता है. Quantities are always given in your say pie chart or bar graph or anything. Yeah, hello. Okay, Nancy. Lokesh Kumar, what is no? You have joined just now. That's the reason you write no. क्या हुआ? Okay, Aditya. Mentioning quantities. Now, when you see a bar graph or a pie chart, the ratio or the percentage is always mentioned. Okay, it is always given to you. In a line graph also, if a population rise or decline of population or whatever is shown, figures will be, numbers will be always given, and there are number of ways that can be used to describe quantities. Percentage, sometimes fraction, sometimes ratios. Ratios are usually, fractions and ratios are always seen in pie charts, right? So if you have been given a choice in your exam to do a bar graph or a pie chart, please choose that particular question which seems to be, understandable to you, and the data of which is understandable to you, as well as the question which you can analyze very effectively. Okay, Hanji, Abhishek Yadav, good evening. क्या? Why choice? हाँ, choices आता है कभी कभी. Sometimes you get choice. You get choice for analytical questions. Analytical paragraph questions. समझे? Mr. Abhishek Yadav, you get choice. Sometimes a pie chart can be given, sometimes a bar graph can be given. Right? If your school is conducting pre-board, then probably you must be noticing that. Now, coming back to mentioning quantities, when including numbers and figures, their accuracy must be ensured. There are a number of ways that can be used to describe quantities, for example, percentage, fraction, ratios, etc. क्या? हाँ, choice can be your own. It will be written na, or. It will be written or. Either do the bar graph or do the pie chart. दोनों में से कोई एक, or the line graph. कभी कभी दोनों, it might be that see, by the next year I am expecting a lot of changes in the paper pattern also. ठीक है देवो? So by the time you people are in grade 10, I will just completely make you efficient enough to solve these questions. ठीक है देवो? All right. So when we are talking about quantities, percentages जो भी दिया है, ratio जो भी दिया है, that has to be effectively mentioned, because that is the key as to what quantity is higher in what aspect and what quantity is lower in what aspect. That also has to be taken into consideration. Connecting sentences. If different information or ideas are there, you should use connectors or linking phrases to link them logically. The sentences of the paragraph should be sequential and connected rationally. Now, this is the most important thing. How do we connect the previous sentence with the next sentence? When you see the sample, you will be able to understand. And before that, I'm just telling you, I'm just discussing with you how to go about it. Now, there are multiple ideas, multiple information which has been given to you in your bar graph. So you have already started, you have introduced the bar graph, and you have written about what the bar graph is showing, or the above bar graph or the preceding, the succeeding graph is showing the number of students in 3 different schools who speak English and Hindi respectively. Yes, Debo? हाँ, सही बात है. Yes, yes, Devopriya, correct. But yeah, we have nothing to lose. Everything will be good, I hope. Yeah. Okay. So, coming here once again, if different information or ideas are given, it is quite expected that different ideas and informations will be given. Okay. So, when you have started the first sentence, how will you connect the first sentence to the second sentence? So, there are certain connecting phrases. Okay. The pie chart illustrates, these are the introductory phases. The pie chart illustrates, or the bar graph shows, or the diagram shows, or the following line graph depicts the number of English and Hindi speaking students in the government school, Kendriya Vidyalaya, as well as private schools respectively. Okay. Now, how will you continue? How will you maintain a sequence or a chronological order? Okay. So, how will you do that? There are certain phrases and words. Multiple choice question. Correct, Seth. That's the reason I've been telling you to join Unacademy. We are doing previous year question papers. Plenty of them have been done. So, then in the second sentence you can write moving ahead, or to continue, or we get to see, or moreover, or to compare. You can also write to compare the datas, or to compare the figures of, or to compare the number of English speaking students in all three schools. We can see the trend that government schools, in the government school we can see that number of Hindi English speaking students are very less, whereas in the private schools, whereas, to compare, in contrast. All right, all these phrases are supposed to be connecting the first sentence to the other, and please maintain a sequence, standard pattern. Ha, correct Devopriya. There will be a lot of changes, we'll just wait and watch. Yeah, maybe in another 1 year. Okay, so I was just talking about how to connect the sentence. Now comes the conclusion. When we have introduced it, we have compared, we have sequenced, we have mentioned all the numbers, the figures and the data. We have maintained the chronological order and connected all the sentence. Now we will have to conclude it, yeah, which is very, very necessary. The last paragraph should summarize the idea mentioned and the information in general. It should be concluding in nature and act as the closing statement. One should keep in mind that one must not include any personal opinions, conclusions or observations. You should simply stick to the facts. Here you will say, please use my code. I am here only. तुम अगर मेरा कोड नहीं यूज़ किया ना तो पिटाई पड़ेगी. Just kidding. Please use my code. PC29. Unacademy is a wonderful platform. Yeah. Okay. So now we are talking about the conclusion. The last paragraph should summarize the idea mentioned and in the information in general. To sum up, to conclude, in nutshell, to summarize are some of the phrases which you should be including in your conclusion. All right. Now, in general, how will you conclude it? You will just restate what you have been discussing or writing about. You were discussing about the trend of English and Hindi speaking. You will have to just restate that in general. Okay, in general. After that, what will you do? 1 minute, huh? बीच में calls आ रहे हैं. Yes. Okay. PC Live 10 or PC 29 use करना. PC 29 more authentic. All right. So, who all have joined? Okay. So how do we restate or reconclude that? You need not give your personal opinion, huh? Please do not give any of your personal opinion. You can just generalize it or give just a subtle assumption that it can be seen, or it's a trend. You can see the trend also that there are less number of English speaking students in in government schools, whereas there are higher number of students who speak English in private schools. Very subtly generalize it and conclude it. No personal opinions or observations. Nothing. Only stick to the fact. Whatever fact you have observed in your data is supposed to be taken. This is what was one kind of analytical paragraph which I have explained so far. Now the second one, which is there in your current sample paper, which is released by CBSE, which we have already done in our plus class, there is one more pattern of analytical writing, which is the argumentative one. So I'll discuss that also. Now there are few tips, okay, how to introduce. There are few tips that I have shown in my slide. The chart given above describes, the table suggests, the line graph shows, the data given provides information about, the pie chart illustrates. These are different ways to introduce your analytical paragraph. Please understand that an analysis of a text or a given data has to be very beautiful, right? It's a formal way of writing, and the more you analyze and use descriptive words and phrases and different comparative words, different contrast words, different words to conclude your analysis, it is going to be a perfect write-up. Yes, Lokesh, you are right. Because the educators are doing a lot of hard work, my dear. Lot of hard work. So I would recommend you strongly to join Unacademy. Okay. Now, moving ahead, quantities. How do we describe the quantities? Use various styles like 48% of the world's population, or 60% of the English speaking students, or 1/3 of the people residing in villages, 1/4 of 80% of people residing in Karnataka, or 70% of people residing in Madhya Pradesh. Yes. Okay. So all these datas and quantities are supposed to be described without fail, because end of the day, those quantities are the key for comparison. So quantities are very effectively supposed to be described. Okay. Now comes trends. As I told you, this is a trend that we see, that private schools and all those, I have given very common example, that if you go to the IGCSE curriculum or international schools, you will see those students who aspire to go abroad, and people who are well off and prosperous, they can afford their children to study in those international schools. So you will find that particular crowd over there. When you come to private schools or good convent and ICSE school, the crowd there is different. When you come to government school, when you come to other schools, you will see the crowd is different. So this is the trend. This is the trend. Yes. Thank you so much, Saif, for the compliment. Thank you so much. Okay, so these are the trends. Use phrases and words like the pattern of growth of population indicates or shows that there is a sharp rise of population in the year 1995 to 1996. What am I doing? I am analyzing and describing the trend. Then again, after 97, when it is 98, 99, we can say that the rate of rising population is fluctuating. We can say, you can see these phrases which are there on the slide: skyrocketed, striking increase. We can also say that the year 1995 witnessed a striking increase or skyrocketed increase in population. We can say that. So that way, what are we doing? We are describing trends with the use of these phrases: stagnated, fluctuating, starting to rise, drop down slightly. Yeah, there is very if you see the number of English speaking students and Hindi speaking students in Kendriya Vidyalaya, they are slightly different. Yeah, you will find a mixed bag. They are slightly different. This is how, this is just an example. It is just not something which is here. हाँ, टैलेंट इंस्टीट्यूट आपको अपना कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं देना है. You are just going to stick to the fact what has been given to you in the data. Your personal information or your mentioning of your observation is a big no-no to writing an answer of the analytical paragraph question. Please don't do that. All right? ठीक है? For establishing a relationship or contact, what do? We use phrases like in contrast with, in comparison to, in the opposite, however, whereas. I have used this when I was introducing it and while I was comparing this. Striking difference, noticeable difference. For example, if we take up the population of 1995 and then we go to 1997, 1997 if the population rises very high. So how do we write? Relationship. How do we maintain the relationship between the year 1995 and 1997? we will say that there is a noticeable difference between the year 1995 and 1997 in terms of rising population. This is how we are going to frame the sentence. All right? Is that fine? Okay. Then for conclusion and in contrast, in comparison, just the opposite, to contrast and in contrast and similarly, and however, whereas these can be used while you are writing the comparison in your second paragraph. Please make use of these phrases when you watch. Yes, Lokesh. Okay. Convent schools are the best, for English. If you are under a pure convent school. Yes, I feel ICSE convent schools they maintain a very good level of English. Now coming to the conclusion, what are some of the phrases? In nutshell, for the chart given, in short, striking changes, subsequently, to summarize, to conclude. These are some of the phrases which I strongly recommend you to use during, writing the conclusion. Okay. Hanji Lokesh. So this is what you are going to structure the entire analytical paragraph the way I have told you. Okay. Now comes this. These are the 4 or 5 tips. Okay. That you are supposed to be doing when you are writing an argumentative essay also. Argumentative essay. Especially when if you see the current sample paper of English which has been released this year, there is one question. Okay. So if you get, for example, if there is a topic, are mobile phones dangerous? And on the other hand, if I give you a topic, write down the pros or analyze the pros and cons of using mobile phones. There is a difference in these two topics. What are we supposed to be doing first? I'll explain both the topics, both the aspects. MCQs, you have to read the entire text, read between the lines, underline the key points, and this is how you can attempt MCQs in CBSE class 10. Unless you read the text thoroughly, you are aware of the entire text, you will not be able to do. It is also applicable for grammar exercises. Talent Institute, I do not know what is your name, whatever is reflecting here. Now please, coming to the topic. Brainstorming, researching, analyzing, evaluation, titling. Okay. Now, for example, the title is already given. So, how will you do? Now, for example, if I say write down analyze the pros and cons of using mobile phones. We all know that using mobile phones has got its advantages as well as disadvantages. Yeah? Am I right? Okay, Devo. I'll see you at 6:30. All right. So, how do we do it? First, we start researching about that topic. If I say if we brainstorming means our thought process should start traveling, and we should be able to know as to what are the disadvantages and what are the advantages of mobile phones. We introduce the topic. If you want, you can research, because if the topics vary, you will have to research and you will have to know about the advantages and disadvantages of a certain topic. Correct? Yes? So, after that, what do we do? After our researching is done, we start analyzing. Now, how do we analyze? It is just the same as I have taught you before. You will introduce the topic. What are mobile phones? What is the purpose? What are the things that mobile phones can do, and how do people use it? That is just your specific, subtle, to the point introduction. Once we are done with the introduction, we will start analyzing. We'll start first with the pros, the advantages. It is always good to write a discursive or an argumentative analysis in this way. So how do we analyze? We are now talking about the advantages, that we can stay connected. We can stay connected with each other. Number one, we can get into video calls. We can inform people wherever we are. no matter wherever we are, we can have a video call, or information can be shared, and pictures can be shared, videos can be shared, data can be shared. Okay, so when you are talking about the advantages, you are analyzing it, and you are providing evidences to your advantages. Okay, once we are done with the advantages, we write the disadvantages. Evaluation is what? Evaluation will come after we write the disadvantages, that whether we consider mobile phone to be good or to be bad, which is also going to be a part of our conclusion. Again, coming back to the analysis, when we are writing about the disadvantages, we will again provide evidences that there are people who drive and use mobile phones. Okay, so at that point of time, it is suggested that people should not be doing it. There are car accidents, electrocute can happen, the ultraviolet, excessive use of mobile phones can cause harm to your eyes, because there are ultraviolet rays which are emitted. So this is how you are providing what you call your evidences to your disadvantages, and after that you evaluate whether or not use of mobile phones are good or dangerous or not, and then you conclude. If the title is already given, you need not go for the title. Okay? Yes. Now there is a sample given over here. Dekho. That is what I was talking about. Class 10 speaking English and Hindi in 3 different type of schools in New Delhi. Based on the details given in the bar graph given below, write an analytical paragraph in about 100-120 words. Don't add any extra information. Lokesh, तुम हो नहीं, कौन है वो? Talent Institute. Don't add any extra information. है ना? Now this is the chart. If you see the number of English speaking students in the private school, as I've already discussed throughout, is more. Number of Hindi speaking students in the government school is more. Number of English and Hindi speaking student in Kendriya Vidyalaya is balanced. So this is the solution. You can see that the chart depicts the number of students of class 10th speaking English and Hindi in 3 different types of schools in New Delhi. The chart clearly illustrates that the number of students speaking Hindi in government school is almost 3.5 times greater than the students who speak English. Excuse me. Yes, Madhuram Agrawal. Good evening. The chart clearly illustrates that. Okay, in contrast, now see how the comparison has started. In contrast, the scene is totally different in private school. And please note that these sentences are very well connected. Where 2/3 of the tool, we are again talking about the figures, the datas, the trends. Where 2/3 of the total students prefer to speak in English. In KVs, there is a slight difference between the choice of 2 languages, etc. Okay. So this is how you are going to write. As I was talking about the argumentative one, you will have the introduction. Your body paragraph will have your pros and cons, followed by the evidences, your assumptions, as well as your conclusion. After this, I'll give you the format of formal letter as well. Okay. So this is what you are supposed to be. Good evening, beta. Yes. Schools have the highest number of Hindi speakers. This is also there. You can just check. Alright. So this is how you are going to tackle. If you just follow all the guidelines that I have given you during my session about analytical paragraph, you will be able to do it. Now comes formal letter, which is again one writing skill in your in your 10th curriculum. How do we write a formal letter? What are the tips which are shown on the slide? The first thing is address or greet the concerned person properly, like dear sir or dear madam. Now comes the subject. Now, when you are following this format of formal letter, you will also have to be very, very careful that apart from maintaining this format, you will have to leave lines in between. So, what do we do first? What do we do first? We write down the date. Don't we write down the date? We write down the date first. These are just the generalized skeleton which is shown on the slide. I will show you a sample also. Okay? All right? Hello, hello. All right. So coming back, we write down the date, then the sender's address, then the receiver's address, then the subject, then dear sir or madam, then after that the introductory paragraph followed by the body, 2 paragraphs, and then the conclusion. Now how do we do it? This is just a generalized thing which I have spoken about. Okay, always mention the subject of writing the letter. In a formal letter, just like an email, just like an email, it is very, very, hello Kumar, it is, yes, hi, done. Don't spam, please don't spam. Okay, now talking about in a broader way. The first thing we do, address or greet the concerned person, respected sir or respected madam, or dear sir or madam. Nowadays it's dear sir or madam. Just the way we write subject in an email, it is essential for you to write a very short subject. I have seen students writing lamba subjects in the formal letter, which is not suggested at all. You will have to mention the subject of the letter in a very concise way. Be concise in your letter. Write the reason for writing the letter in the first paragraph. Yes, this is to bring to your kind attention. If you are writing a letter to the editor, then through the esteemed columns of your newspaper, I would like to draw your kind attention to the problem which has happened in my area. It might be drainage, it might be stray dogs, it might be the street bulbs or the street lights, etc. Okay, and it is also strongly advised to you that in the conclusion, please do not write, I want you to do that. Please, you have to be very formal in your language. You have to have a very polite tone while writing a formal letter. You cannot be harsh. So while you have written the first paragraph, what you will do after that, write in a proper format and take care of the presentation of the letter. The address and the date is supposed to be mentioned very correctly. Okay. The designation, what happened, Madhuram? The designation of that person, if he is an editor to a renowned newspaper, you will mention that to the editor so and so newspaper, to the general manager so and so. The designation has to be mentioned very respectfully. And the closing of the letter should be used, thanking you, yours sincerely or yours truly or yours faithfully, with your name and signature. While you are writing the entire letter, in the introduction, what you are going to do, you are going to state the purpose of writing the letter. In the second paragraph, what you are going to do, you are going to add details to the problem that you are trying to highlight through your letter, and you are going to, in a very detailed way, you are going to write down that this is the problem, and it is my suggestion or my request to you to take an action. All right. And in the end, you will be thanking, and you will be thanking in anticipation that you are assuming that an action has to be taken. Okay. Now, letter to the editor may be written, or to the newspaper or a magazine. It is written to highlight a social issue or problem. As it is a formal letter, the format which I have just discussed has to be followed very, very strictly from the examination point of view. And in the examination, the students, when you are asked to write a letter to the editor, you will have to follow the format to the T. No slang languages to be used, abbreviations not to be used. You are supposed to be avoiding it. All right, moving ahead. Check the sample now. Gandhinagar is a thickly populated locality inhabited mainly by the working class people. Unfortunately, there is no Amul milk booth in the locality. Alright, write a letter in 100. Okay, please stick to the word limit also. Please don't go up, above the word limit. Formal letters are very brief, they're very concise. You cannot keep on writing in detail. 100 to 120 words is the limit. So you have to write a letter of 100 to 120 words to the editor of a local daily, drawing the attention to the authorities to the problem faced by the people, requesting them to open a milk booth in Gandhinagar. So who are you? You are Sham or Shobha. Your address is for Gandhinagar or whatever. Mumbai can be, yeah. Gandhinagar is in Mumbai, yeah. It's not that Gandhinagar, okay? It's a locality in Mumbai. So can you see? Do you see when you see the sample, you will get to see that the subject is very, very precise, okay? Yes. So you all can see the sender's address, then the date, then the editor, Hindustan News or Hindustan News Mumbai or whatever it is. I've changed the name. Subject, if you see, absence of Amul milk booth in Gandhinagar. You all can go through this. I am Shobha, a resident of Gandhinagar. I am writing to you in order to raise the issue of absence of an Amul milk booth in my locality. Gandhinagar, now she has added details to the second paragraph. Gandhinagar has a huge population which comprises of daily wagers. Still the area does not have a Amul milk booth. The residents face many problems as they have to walk up to 10 kilometers. She is adding detail to it. In the end, how she is concluding it, as the situation is serious. As the situation is serious, I request you to highlight it through your newspaper. And then the concluding salutation. Thanking you, yours sincerely. Okay. So this was all about analytical paragraph and formal letter. Now I just want you to know that Unacademy, which is a wonderful online learning platform, is doing wonders now, and all the top educators are there. I am also teaching in a batch, and I would strongly recommend you to join this platform. Use my code and get a 10% discount. If you have any queries, any questions, you may please post in the comment box. Okay. Moving ahead. You have the live quiz facility, and we have also started with the CBSE class 9 and 10 quiz channel where all the educators are conducting quiz. Okay, so this is what we achieved today. You all can see my code. Now the homework is, those of you who have not been able to attend the session, please watch the entire video, like and subscribe the video, and you will be definitely benefited. Okay, now I wanted you all to know about this career quest, which is on the 20th of December. Now who all are there? We have these top people who will be taking sessions from time to time. Please go to the website and check. 5 path breakers give us a glimpse into their lives. Okay, this is a very wonderful event which is going to be held on 20th of December on Unacademy. Timing is 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. Please do join with these people and get an insight, very useful insight. Now talking about the plus subscriptions, we have Iconic, we have plus subscriptions, and these are working wonders. Even if you take a subscription for a month or 3 months or for 6 months and you apply my code PC Live 10 or PC 29, you get a 10% discount. You also have Iconic subscription where you get a personal mentor who can connect to your parents. What are the facilities on Unacademy? Live classes for all subjects daily, weekly quizzes, doubt solving, practice questions, test series, etc. All right. Yeah, please join. This is all the plus and the iconic subscription all about. Now you can see that what is the K-12 subscription, that is class 6 to 12 subscription all about. You have multiple facilities under one umbrella. You can excuse me, plan for your examination. You will be prepared well by the top educators. 6 to 12 has been a wonderful platform, so please join now. Use my code and you will be a successful person in your exam. Okay, these are some of the test series which are going on every day. Daily T20 test, final examinations, test series for math, science, social studies on different days. You all can go to the website and you all can check it. So what are the facilities on Unacademy? As I already told you, live classes, weekly quizzes, doubt solving, practice questions, test series, etc. under one umbrella. There are a lot of batches going on. I am also a part of 2 to 3 batches, and I have been taking plenty of batches. And please join me. Please like and subscribe my video. Use my code, and I would see you tomorrow once again at 1 p.m. with Madam Rides the Bus. Tomorrow I will have Madam Rides the Bus at 1 p.m. Then we will have a quiz at Madam Rides the Bus tomorrow. And then again we will have a quiz at 5 p.m. Okay. It was wonderful talking to everybody. Chaliye. Bye bye.